Welcome to the deep dive. We're digging into some sources you sent over, all focused on, well, something pretty essential. Communication skills.
Yeah, and specifically, this material really zeroes in on a power that you might not even realize you have.
So our mission today really is to sift through all this, find the most, actionable insights.
Exactly. Pull out the key stuff.
Yeah.
We want to help you become a clearer communicator, more confident, and more connected.
Because communication, it really is fundamental, isn't it? The sources call it the glue for everything.
Totally. Work, friendships, just daily life.
You holds it all together.
And the big point here, what these sources keep hitting on, it isn't about like memorizing big words or getting your grammar perfect.
Yeah.
No, it's simpler, more human. It's about getting your ideas across clearly, confidently, so people actually get you.
Okay, so if it's not about the specific words we use, what is the secret weapon then? What are these sources pointing to?
Well, they make a really strong case that it all starts with listening. Yeah, that's the core idea. They almost drop it like a truth bomb. Saying listening is the actual superpower. That's what really transforms communication, builds connection.
Okay, but hang on. Why listening? We want to speak better, right? How does just listening help with that?
That's a fair question. And the sources give some pretty interesting reasons. Like they point out good listeners. People remember them more than just, smooth talkers.
That makes sense.
And listening, it does something instantly. It builds rapport.
How so?
Well, when you make someone feel genuinely heard, like really heard, that creates a connection straight away. But the really cool insight is how listening actually improves your own speaking automatically.
Just by hearing other people talk.
Exactly. You start absorbing the natural rhythms, the tone of voice, the emotion, even the timing of real conversations.
Oh, okay.
Your brain sort of soaks it all up. It's like learning the blueprint for how natural talk actually sounds. The pauses, the emphasis.
Like learning the music of the language, not just the words.
Precisely. And one source threw out a number, quite stark actually. Something like 60% of communication mistakes.
Yeah.
They don't come from bad English or wrong words. They come from poor listening.
Wow. 60%. That really flips things, doesn't it? We focus so much on output, on speaking.
Right. But maybe we should focus more on the input first. They have this great line. Your ears are the gateway to your words.
Your ears are the gateway to your words. I like that.
You got to listen well to speak well. It's foundational.
Okay, so if listening is the superpower and it's not about sounding super smart with big words, what does good communication actually look like according to this material?
Well, they boil it down to basically two key things.
Okay.
First, clear thoughts. You need to know what you want to say. That gives your message direction.
Makes sense. And second?
Second, simple English. Not dumbed down, but clear, accessible, so everyone can understand you easily.
So the goal isn't impressing people, it's connecting with them, sounding human.
Exactly. Sound human. And that loops us right back to the practical side of listening. The sources talk a lot about active listening.
Active listening. Okay, what does that mean in practice? More than just hearing.
Oh, yeah, much more. It's really processing, understanding what's being said and maybe what's not being said.
And how does that help us respond better?
Well, when you actively listen, you're not just waiting for your turn thinking about your reply. You're actually grasping their message, their viewpoint, maybe the feeling underneath.
Yeah.
So your response, it becomes relevant, thoughtful. It connects because you're building on what they said.
Right, not just launching your own thing. Okay, so what should we be listening for specifically, if it's more than words?
Good question. The sources say tune into, well, several things. Tone of voice is huge. Specific word choices matter, sure. But also the emotion you can pick up. And critically, notice how native speakers pause, where they put emphasis, how they phrase questions.
The rhythm and flow again.
Exactly. Learning to kind of mimic that flow makes your own reply sound much more natural.
And probably makes the other person feel like you're really with them in the conversation.
Totally. Shows respect, makes it feel natural. So, okay, how do we actually train this? That's the next step.
Right, the practical stuff, exercises.
Yes. They offer some really hands-on techniques.
Yeah.
First step is picking your practice material.
What kind of material?
Keep it short. Like a 2-minute YouTube vlog clip, maybe a scene from a sitcom,
Okay.
a snippet of a podcast, or a bit of a TED Talk. The key, they say, is finding real conversations Or at least stuff that sounds like real conversation, not overly scripted drama.
Got it. Natural English.
Then, building on that, they suggest this daily routine, just 10 minutes. They call it the 3-part practice method.
Okay, 10 minutes a day sounds manageable. What are the parts?
Part 1, it's about 4 minutes. Just listen. Pick your clip and listen. Don't stress too much about understanding every single word at first.
Okay.
Focus more on how they speak, the rhythm, the intonation. Get a feel for the sound.
Soaking it in. Like the music. Okay, what's part 2?
Part 2, about 3 minutes. Repeat and record. Shadowing.
Shattering?
Yeah, you play a sentence or two, pause it, and then you repeat it. Try to copy their tone, their rhythm, as close as you can. And they really push this. Record yourself doing it.
Ooh, listening to yourself speak. That can be tough.
It can feel a bit awkward, yeah. But honestly, it's so powerful. Hearing yourself back shows you instantly where you can improve clarity or flow or maybe pronunciation. Builds that self-awareness.
Okay, makes sense. So listen, then repeat and record. What's the last step?
Part 3, the final 3 minutes. Speak your mind. This is key.
How so?
Take the topic from the clip you just listened to and talk about it in your own English. Give your opinion, summarize it, agree, disagree, whatever.
Ah, so you're practicing responding naturally.
Exactly. You're training yourself to use the structures and rhythms you've just been absorbing, but with your own thoughts.
That whole sequence, listen, mimic, then create, that actually sounds really effective for building fluency.
It's a really smart cycle, yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't stop there. They've got techniques for actual live conversations too, like the echo technique.
The echo technique. What's that involve?
It's super simple, actually. You just repeat the last few words someone said. Often phrase it as a question. Like if they say, we need to finish this by Friday morning, you might just echo back, okay, so Friday morning. It seems tiny, but it does 2 things. Confirms you understood and makes the other person feel like, okay, they heard me.
Yeah, I can see how that would work. Instant validation.
Exactly. Another one they suggest is the 5-second rule.
5 seconds before you reply.
Yep. Just pause for about 5 seconds after someone finishes speaking before you jump in.
That feels like a really long time in a conversation. Why?
Well, it stops you from interrupting, which is, a really common habit.
Guilty.
We all are. It gives your brain a beat to actually process what they fully said instead of just reacting. So you can form a more thoughtful response. Shows respect too.
That requires some discipline. Okay, what else? Any other interesting ones?
Here's a kind of fun one. Listening bingo.
Listening bingo, like with a card.
You could make one or just do it mentally. The idea is during a conversation, you actively listen for specific things. Maybe track filler words like, or
Okay.
or try to spot one specific emotion someone expresses, or maybe a cultural reference you pick up on.
That sounds like it would really force you to tune in on a different level, not just the main point, but the details.
Totally. It trains you to catch those nuances.
Right.
And speaking of getting your point across clearly, they also push practicing simplicity.
Simple words, short sentences, is that the idea?
Pretty much. They suggest an exercise. Try explaining something complicated like the plot of a movie you just watched to a friend in English.
That forces you to be clear.
Right. You have to ditch the jargon, find simple ways to explain it. And when you manage that, it's a huge confidence booster.
Because if you can explain that confusing sci-fi plot clearly,
You can probably explain anything. They also touch on handling nerves. Big barrier for lots of people.
definitely. What's the advice there?
Have some fallback phrases ready.
Like what kind of phrases?
Just simple things. That's a good question. Let me think for a second. Or, interesting point. I need a moment on that.
Buying time gracefully.
Exactly. It sounds natural. Native speakers do it all the time. Listen for how they use little pauses or phrases like, well, or actually, to gather their thoughts.
That's smart. It's not about never pausing. It's about having tools to manage the pauses.
Precisely. And the sources are clear. None of this works as a one-off trick. You have to make listening practice a habit.
Integrate it daily.
Yeah. Commute, chores, find a language buddy to chat with. Every little bit helps sharpen your skills.
Okay, so we've talked about active listening, but you mentioned different levels earlier. Do the sources break that down?
They do. They offer this useful 3-level listening framework. Helps you think about how deep your listening goes.
3 levels. Okay, lay them on me.
Level 1, surface listening. This is just catching the basics, the key words, the facts.
Like headlines.
Exactly. If someone says, meeting 2 p.m. Tuesday, deadline. You catch meeting, 2 p.m. Tuesday, deadline. You got the info.
Got it. Level 2.
Level 2, deep listening. Now you're listening for what's meant, not just what's said. You're paying attention to the tone. Does their "I'm fine" actually sound fine? Do they pause before answering something sensitive? You're hearing the emotion, the subtext.
Reading between the lines.
That's a good way to put it. Then level 3, global listening.
Global.
Yeah, this is the big picture, the context. What are the cultural norms here? Is directness okay? Or is politeness more valued? What's the relationship between the speakers? You're listening to the whole environment around the words.
Wow. Surface, deep, global. That's a really helpful way to think about it. Moving from words to meaning to context. But what stops us? What are the common mistakes?
The deadly listening sins, as one source called them.
Deadly sins. Okay, what are they?
Number 1, probably the most common, planning your reply while the other person is still talking.
Oh, yeah. Definitely done that.
Haven't we all? Your brain is on your next sentence, not on theirs. Another huge one, multitasking.
A phone?
Exactly. The sources are blunt. Put the phone down. Trying to listen while scrolling or checking email, you're just not fully present.
Makes perfect sense. Can't split your focus like that.
And the third big sin is filtering. Only hearing what you want to hear or what confirms what you already think.
So you tune out stuff that doesn't fit your narrative.
Precisely. You end up having a conversation mostly with yourself, just using their words as jumping off points, not really engaging.
Okay. Avoid planning replies, multitasking, and filtering.
And remember the goal through all this. The sources stress this again and again. It's not about speed. It's not about perfection. It's about connection.
Connection. And that links back to confidence, doesn't it? They seem to tie clarity and confidence together.
They do. And the way listening builds confidence is interesting.
Yeah.
It's not magic. No, it's because the more you listen, the more you internalize those natural patterns, the flow, the structures of the language.
Okay.
That understanding makes it way easier to find your own voice, to trust yourself to speak clearly when it's your turn, because you know how it's supposed to sound.
So confidence isn't about faking it with big words. It comes from feeling grounded in how communication actually works by listening first.
Exactly. It comes from being clear, being natural, being understood, not from trying to be someone you're not. And to help you actually do this, one source laid out a challenge.
A challenge. Okay, I'm intrigued.
A 7-day listening challenge to kind of kickstart these habits.
7 days. What do you do?
Okay, so days 1 and 2, try using that echo technique just 3 times each day in conversations. That simple repeat back.
Okay, echo 3 times. Got it.
Days 3 and 4, focus on interrupting. Just count how many times you catch yourself cutting someone off. Awareness is the goal.
Ooh, that could be revealing. Okay.
Days 5 and 6. Try to identify one specific emotion the other person is expressing in each conversation you have. Listen for the feeling.
Tuning into emotion. Okay. What about the last day? Day 7.
Day 7 is the interesting one. Try having a conversation where you only ask questions.
Only questions. Wow, that sounds really hard.
Right, but also fascinating. It totally flips the dynamic.
Yeah.
Forces you into that listening first mode, makes you realize how much you can learn just by asking and truly listening to the answers.
That's a brilliant exercise to finish on. So wrapping this all up, the big takeaway from this deep dive.
It's pretty clear, isn't it? If you want to speak better, you need to start by listening smarter.
Yeah, communication isn't magic, it's a skill. You build it, one conversation, one listening moment at a time.
And the sources give you the tools. So the final call to action is really simple. Just pick one thing.
One thing.
One strategy we talked about. The echo technique, the 5-second rule, maybe that 10-minute drill, or just one day of the challenge. Try it this week.
See what happens. See what shifts for you.
Yeah. And they leave us with a final thought, which really stuck with me after reading all this.
What's that?
The best communicators, they aren't always the loudest or the ones that have the biggest vocabulary. They're the ones who've mastered making other people feel truly heard.